I don't have the classifications of like top of funnel, bottom of funnel, and like all of these things laid out real well. But this kind of content, it's not a hard sell. It's one of those things where viewers are swiping. They pause for a second, maybe 3 seconds. They're like, oh, cool, she's pregnant and this person's doing that. All right. So on the screen, and I know you're on a phone, I just started to talk about this, and you're the perfect person to brainstorm. So Kroger, you guys have Kroger in New York? Do you have Kroger where you are?
We do not.
Okay, so Kroger is just a national grocery store. It's a chain, large chain, publicly traded. Down in Florida, there's Publix. Like I used to love going to Publix. Kroger is jumping on the GLP bandwagon. They have an ad. I'm sharing it on the screen. It says GLP-1 Balanced Meals delivered. And then there's just a little blurb at the top. It says, take it easy with Tempo's GLP-1 Balanced Meal, delivered fresh to your doorstep, fully prepared meals crafted by chef cooks in 2 minutes. So, I mean, I like the idea. Before I get into what I do with ChatGPT and how I kind of break this down and turn it into something that I can use, any thoughts off the top of your head about an ad like this or how something like this would apply to physical therapy profession?
Yeah, so just to recap, GLP-1, is that pretty much what is in Mounjaro or Wegovy or any of these weight loss injection medications? Is that pretty much it?
Yeah.
Okay. So with the meal prep here you're talking about, is there any of those chemical substances in the meals, or are they literally just like using the branding of the GLP-1 to get attention and get market share and sell more of their stuff?
Yeah, it has nothing to do with the medication itself. Okay. It's simply, you are trying to lose weight. You're taking these medications to lose the weight. You as a consumer, you recognize there's recognition with GLP-1. So we're going to grab that and we're going to say, hey, these foods go along with that medication, even though we don't have anything to do with the medication.
Well, I know you well enough, and I know the next step of what you're going to do, but let's get into it.
Okay, so obviously my niche from a clinical perspective is total knee replacement. There's a huge community within total knee replacement that's trying to lose weight. They're doing all of the, Ozempic, Mounjaro, I don't even know a lot of the brand names, but they're doing all of that stuff. Some do well, some do terrible. The big negative that I've heard is you lose a lot of muscle in addition to losing the weight. So in my mind, my clinical brain says, okay, awesome. I'm going to create, just like Kroger created a food to support the weight loss, a food program, I'm going to create a muscle protective program. I'm going to create a strength training program. But what I want to create isn't, important. It's what does the consumer want to purchase? What is the consumer looking for? What is a need that the consumer has that I can then fulfill? And so I'm going to share this back up here. I put that screenshot. Let me find a better way. I put that screenshot into ChatGPT. And what I did was I said, analyze this ad. Give me a list of 3 things that were done well and 3 things that can be improved. Anybody can do this right now with any ad. You look at an Athletico ad. You look at a personal training ad. You look at a Pilates studio ad. You can pull it in, take a screenshot, and just real quick, for those of you listening, not watching, 3 things done well, clear message and targeting. So it says the phrase GLP-1 Balanced Meal immediately connects with people using GLP-1 medications like Ozempic, Wegovy, Mounjaro. It says simple and clean visuals, the blue background, the white text, the neat meal photo make it easy for the ad to be scanned and look professional. And then simple call to action. 60% off your first box is concise, high value, immediately gives a reason to click. Things that could be done better. Add context or benefit. The ad assumes that the audience understands what GLP-1 balanced meals are, what it means. I was shocked you didn't immediately know But that just goes to show, like, you don't have a weight problem. You're not trying to lose weight. You're in a different phase of life.
I just wanted to confirm. I just wanted to confirm that there's the medications are not within this meal prep.
Okay.
It's just a supplement to the medication shots that someone's receiving or getting.
So it says, a short subline like protein-rich meals designed to complement your GLP-1 routine. It could help increase clarity. There's no human connection. There's no people. There's nothing to relate to. And then brand or trust signals. The Kroger logo is tiny. Quote, Tempo by Home Chef. It's unfamiliar. Now, I think Home Chef is like an in-house Kroger brand. I'm not positive, but I think it's like Kirkland for Costco. I think it's just their like version of Blue Apron and stuff like that. So anyway, then I just said, hey, how do I use this to market to my community? There's a lot of people in total knee replacement who want to lose weight and they're taking this medication. I said, generate a Facebook post formatted for my total knee replacement audience. Before I read this, any feedback on what you see that ChatGPT saw?
More about what Chat DMK saw. So, which is you got the GLP-1 experience, which is it active or passive? Is that routine? Is that approach? Is that, in your opinion, is that active or passive for weight loss?
Passive.
Passive. A meal plan or eating meals in general, eating any meal, including this GLP-1 meal approach, is that active or passive?
I'm going to say eating a meal is active.
And you can sit on your couch and eat it. I'm trying to corner you and you're trying to get out of it.
No. So, I mean, from my perspective, I'm genuine curious to what you're going to say. People who are, me included, like I've gained 20 pounds over the last few years. I mean, a ridiculous amount of weight relative to lifestyle and everything else that I work so hard on. And so when I look, every single meal is an active event for me. I'm thinking about what I'm putting in my mouth. I'm thinking about what I'm eating. I'm thinking about why I'm eating it. I'm thinking about, am I hungry? What am I looking for? Is it a dopamine release? Is it a serotonin release? Like every single, and I think we don't give credit where credit is due. I've honestly never met somebody who's trying to lose weight who isn't virtually obsessive. Most of them, I'm obsessive, and it's just not working. And they've tried all the stuff and they've done all the right things. And, we've got all that conversation to have in a separate post. But I really think every meal is active. It's an active event.
The way you described it, I cannot disagree. So I would say that makes sense. And I agree with you that what in your head and what you're going through, that certainly sounds active. I just think most Americans that are getting the GLP-1 shot, that's passive. And when they sit and they eat and they're watching TV or they're just eating whatever because of other, psychological issues or emotional issues and past history and all this other stuff, stress, whatever it might be, or sleep. I think most Americans are passive in terms of eating. So that's all I was going to say is like the GLP-1 shot is passive for weight loss. Eating for most people, I think is passive. And then if you're going to spin this and say GLP-1, muscle building, whatever, I think it's going to be a stretch. I think it's easier to do what I'm already doing with like stroke success program, Parkinson's breakthrough program, putting a wrapper around the things that we already do where the consumers are already wanting that for themselves or their spouse or their mother, father that have Parkinson's or stroke or MS or whatever. I would love to see how this goes in terms of testing it, marketing it, all that. But I can't imagine there being a great response to it because in my opinion, it's passive shot, passive food eating. That person is going through a lot of passive stuff because of other issues that is not their fault typically, or it's a lot going on. But then if you introduce then the muscle building, physical therapy, strength and conditioning, however you want to wrap it for GLP-1, it's like passive, now active all of a sudden. Now that is the right approach to have an active approach, but I don't think it's going to resonate with the folks that are already choosing a passive injection for weight loss.
Now, you and I agree, and I tried to pre-frame it in this way. I said my clinical brain says you need to build strength, you need to protect your muscle, because that's what I want people to want. I want you, person who's losing weight, to want to value muscle protection, strength, hypertrophy, all of those things.
But they typically don't.
They don't. You're right. That is very low on the priority list. And this is where I think we fall off of creating something effective. Now, I haven't looked at the ad that ChatGPT made for me. That's why I'm curious. We'll look at it together. If I try to approach this with my clinical brain, I would say, hey, you've got to protect muscle mass. And if you're not strong, even though you're skinny, you're not going to be healthy and you're going to lose function. They don't care. Most of the community does not care. Something that I do think is interesting, though, going in this direction is back to, I don't want to sell $250 physical therapy sessions to somebody who is driving a 1972 Datsun car. You know, I don't want to, it's the wrong audience. Once I step into this GLP-1 world, now we're stepping into, they don't just, most of them pay out of pocket for this, $500 to $1,000 a month in a lot of cases. They're also paying out of pocket for Botox. They're also paying out of pocket for salon, hair done, nails done, skin, airbrush, like all of these other things.
Aesthetics.
And so now I'm stepping into, just because I'm hitting this topic, an audience that values aesthetics or values certain things, and they're willing to pay for it. And they know that they're going to pay for it. And they know that it's going to be expensive when they pay for it. So I do think you immediately hit a new demographic, a new population when you go that direction. So let me take a look at what ChatGPT actually created and make sure. I know you guys, it's too small to read, but I'll just read it. Okay, the headline, recovering from a total knee replacement while taking GLP-1 medication. You're not alone, and you're in the perfect position to make real lasting change. Medications like Wegovy, Mounjaro, Ozempic are helping millions of people lose weight. But the real win comes when that weight loss turns into better movement, stronger muscles, and less pain in the joints that take the most stress, like your knees. As a physical therapist, I'm seeing patients every week who are combining a GLP-1 medication with post-surgical rehab program. Now that's true. Breaking the conversation, I am seeing at least 30% of my knee referrals are on a GLP-1 medication. Okay, go back into reading. Here's what we've learned. Weight loss reduces joint pressure and makes early rehab easier. Balanced nutrition keeps healing on track. Don't skip the protein. Consistent, gentle exercise. Notice it says consistent, gentle exercise helps your body burn fat and build muscle. No, it doesn't. Mindful progress prevents the too fast, too soon trap that can delay recovery. Whether you had your knee replaced 2 weeks ago or 2 years ago, this is the time to build strength safely. Losing weight helps not just the number on the scale, but also physical therapy changes the way your body moves and feels. We're almost done, guys. If you're using a GLP-1 and working toward better mobility after your knee replacement, I created a free guide that explains the top 5 PT exercises to maximize results while on GLP-1 medication. Comment GLP-1 below and I'll send it your way. Remember, the goal isn't to lose weight. The goal is to walk farther, climb easier, live pain-free. Let me know, are you using a GLP-1 medication right now? What changes have you noticed in your knees or your daily movement? Then it just says Anthony Maritato, Total Therapy Solutions, and that's it. What are your thoughts?
I would love for you to consider posting that on your Facebook page, and do not make the PDF deliverable until someone reaches out and asks for it.
I'll get a ChatGPT to make the PDF, I'll try. I should be able to just do a quick video to go along with the PDF. Like I'll verbally say the top 5. I'll type out the top 5. GPT has been making some amazing scripts for me. I never used to use a script until I started doing it like this, but absolutely, I'll put it out there. I'll see what the response is, and then we'll come back in a week or two and we'll share it. I'll even put paid ad dollars behind it just to see where it goes. All right. What else you got? I know you're on vacation. I don't want to do a full hour. 30 minutes is plenty. Let's hit one more topic.
I have a question. So you shared one of my Instagram posts recently.
Yeah.
I really appreciate that. The feedback on it. Can we describe for the audience what that post was and what compelled you to then share? I think you shared 2 recently, but the one where I was running and then I squatted down, I knelt down and I was showing my knee about, knee pain around the kneecap. And you said something like, that was like your favorite video of mine so far. So I love that. I love the feedback. Thank you. And, what resonated with you? Because because you know your audience very well, and you know the end user very well. That's on the other side of all these smartphones across the country, especially in Ohio, but definitely everywhere in the world. So, what resonated with you, and how can the audience learn why that was why it caught your eye, why it was interesting? What about it?
So we'll hit them both, because while I like and appreciate both of them, the running one absolutely resonated with me. The manual therapy one absolutely did not resonate with me. No surprise there. But I don't know if you saw the comment, it 100% resonated with another therapist. Yes. Okay, so the running one. I think the thing that stood out to me, one, obviously I know you, there's facial recognition, but it was a good video. The sound was good. The composition of the video was well done. Me as a 50-year-old runner, I could relate to the scene that I'm watching. And then you in real time getting down, pointing, like showing me all of this stuff on camera. I just thought it was a great job. It built a connection. Even if we didn't have a connection before, that's the kind of video that builds a connection between the consumer and the producer. So I think all of that was really well done. It didn't feel super salesy. I didn't feel like you were making things up. I don't remember the exact details of it, but I know that was a good video to build a connection, to start a relationship. The other one now, and I'll describe it for the audience, it's your therapist in a client's home doing manual therapy. I'm really on the fence here. This is stuff that I would say in private, but since
let it rip.
The watching it. So even from, what if I love the manual therapy? Just watching it, I'm like, he just seems very tentative. The way he was touching the client just seems very tentative, kind of uncomfortable, a little bit shy. He wasn't, in my opinion, from an outside person looking in, it didn't feel like he was like deep in there, committed, really engaged. It just was kind of gentle. And I could see people who, want that kind of deep pressure and the real connection. They were like, this is a waste of time. What is he doing? Like, okay. The good parts though, the thing that's,
and I can see exactly what you're talking about. And I see it.
And then, I think he is a newer therapist. He's not doing a ton of video. I go back to my early videos. I was way worse than him. He's way ahead of me. So, I totally get it. The good things, though, the things that did stand out, like obviously it positions you and your business as, hey, we're going to touch you. We're going to work on you. We're manual therapy based. I thought it was very interesting to see him doing the thing with the toe. He was mobilizing like the great toe maybe and doing something on the arch or the plantar fascia issue. I thought that was different. That's not something I'm expecting to see. I didn't feel like that was tentative, whereas like working on the glute med or whatever he was doing, that I just felt was too gentle. He needed to be more aggressive.
Yes. Yes.
The fact that it was a pregnant woman laying there, I think is huge. That's a target demographic. I think that's awesome. There were absolutely great things. Now, the therapist who commented, her specific words were something along the lines of, I'm paraphrasing, none of this telehealth bullshit, hands-on therapy. Okay, she's been a huge anti-telehealth therapist. She believes that most telehealth is fraudulent and a waste of money and a waste of time. That's fine. Like, that's her position. She's been a therapist, maybe an OT for a long time. She's gone to therapy. She's expressed her opinions. I believe there's huge value in telehealth, but yeah, both of them. Now, why did I share them? I share them for two reasons. One, I want other therapists to see what you're doing, what therapists are doing. Two, any view is going to be a good view, especially when you're trying to grow your audience. So I have a hunch that, sharing it even to our community of other therapists, they're going to watch just out of curiosity and just to, see what somebody is doing, even though they're not your target demographic. It's still going to help drive views and engagement. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, so a couple things just to back up and support my therapist, of course, Meta. That video was the first video where I was recording while he's treating a patient. So that was the first time ever. And it's like I recorded all these different clips. I actually recorded on my iPad a separate view of like 40 or 50 minutes just straight. So like that I could upload to maybe YouTube in the future. That's another episode. I had a bunch of these clips and I was like, you know what? I know it's not perfect. I know. Come on. I have enough awareness. I understand it's not perfect, but I'm like, I need to get it out there. And that's why I did the voiceover. So it's my voice over, because when they were talking, like I still need to work on getting lapel mics and all that, which is the next step. So the audio between the therapist and the client, you could hear it, but it was like, it wasn't great. So I'm like, all right, you know what? I'm going to get the exact script, like the caption and the description of the post. I read it as the voiceover, and then that was the same text in the post. So I was like, I'm going to put my voice over it because I think that'll be better. And then of course the captions, because if someone watches the video and it's, silent and the audio is off, they could still see the captions of it to draw more people in and all that. So to Porus's credit, that was the first video of his boss, another physical therapist, recording a video of him, which was, he's never done it ever before in his life, right? So like you said, it's going to be better. It's going to take more reps. I did that because I'm like, I don't want all the videos to be me. I don't want to treat patients. I can't. I'm super busy. I want my therapist to get busy. So I want other people, whether it's referral sources, whether it's colleagues, whether it's future therapists that are looking around when they're potentially applying to us and they can see our social media footprint, that plus potentially attracting potential new patients and clients and leads and all that. So in a nutshell, I was like, I already have all these clips. Let me just mash them together. We have other clips with him and her where it's a seated position and they're doing other stretches and other things. So I was just like, let's just get it out there. I know it's all going to get better in the future, whether it's better audio, better angles, better lighting, more confidence with whatever the treatment is that they're delivering.
And that's the thing. Everybody needs reps, everybody needs reps, and shout out to him for being willing to let you do it. I've got therapists out there behind this door right now who will not let me record them. So you are ahead of me in that capacity. The other thing for people watching, is understanding it. I don't have the classifications of like top of funnel, bottom of funnel, and like all of these things laid out real well. But this kind of content, it's not a hard sell. It's one of those things where viewers are swiping. They pause for a second, maybe 3 seconds. They're like, oh, cool, she's pregnant and this person's doing that. They're not thinking that much about it. We're overanalyzing it. The person watching it, it's just a little blip on the screen. And then maybe they see a second one and a third one. Then maybe they see a paid ad and they're like, there's a connection here that resonates with them. The best people that I know in this world, like the marketing and ads and media, they all say the same thing. They're like, look, the organic content is the library that's out there. You run the paid ads The paid ads just reminds them that they saw something organic. The organic is just to give them exposure to the idea that there's a service that does this. And then they'll come in, and then that's when they'll start to investigate when they're ready to buy, And so I just think, don't stress out. I'm not telling you, I'm telling people watching, don't stress out. Just start recording. Even if it's a 10-second clip, a 5-second clip, like some of my best clips are 15 seconds or less. I also have minute-long clips that do really well. You never know what's going to hit the algorithm at the right time for the right person. And again, could be photos, So what I would tell Dave is I would say that really could have been 2 separate clips. It didn't have to be 1 clip. You could cut that into 2 at least, maybe even 3. You could grab stills. So I would grab single frames out of that. I would put those stills up as photo posts. Keep the video posts up there. See what's doing better. And then for the photos, well, for everything, but also for the photos, what I do is I take the still frame, I put it into ChatGPT, I give it a little context about what's there, and I ask it to generate a post. And then I share that on both my Facebook and Instagram. I use the Media Business Suite to do that. I just shared a video explaining the workflow, but one piece of content like that could turn into 5 to 10 posts easily for you.
Well, also really quick, I wanted to ask you, it seems like there's a lot of practices across the country where they are doing some of like the TikTok style videos, but on Instagram where it's the therapist doing something, voicing, whatever, but like it's some TikTok or Instagram audio that's like from a movie or a TV show or some meme or whatever is from a talk show, whatever it is. I get it because it probably is just makes it super easy to do like a TikTok type thing, like, oh, someone else did it and like we can just recreate it and it's that audio, we act it out, but it's someone else's audio on top of that. And I guess it helps in terms of volume of total content. But my thought is like, wouldn't it be better for my practices, reels and videos and all that to either be my therapist audio, them speaking, or me speaking? That's why I did the voiceover with Porus's video. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, if you're going to do content, doesn't it make sense to do it all the way and like your own, like 100% yourself? So like it's you're depicting your therapist or your clients or yourself or your audio or, something like that. But as opposed to like, I get it. Volume of content, you got to use some of the other stuff that's out there. Some of the other, little voice clips or whatever. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I don't do a lot of the memes. I don't do a lot of the TikTok dances. I don't do the challenges, the movement challenges and things like that. I think there was a time where you would use a technique like that to grow the audience. I will say, I think that there is a social proof element of having 100,000 plus followers. I think there is benefit to that. And using a strategy like that back in the day might have gotten you there quicker. But today, I just see no value. There's people that are going to do it 1 billion times better than you. They're funnier than you. They're better looking than you. They're younger than you. Leave that to them. I would focus and we would focus on kind of this in between where we're showing real patient engagement. We're sharing information, educational content that's entertaining as opposed to entertaining content to try and grow the following. And that's where we go back to, like, I haven't posted on LinkedIn for weeks now. But even though the LinkedIn audience is so tiny, the value of a LinkedIn connection is so much higher than the value of a Facebook business page connection. Even though my Facebook business page is growing and much, much larger than LinkedIn. So it just comes back to what's the intent? What is the goal? If you're going to make a channel, that's a meme channel. There's Instagram 2 million follower meme channels that make plenty of money. Okay, go do it. But I think for most of us, that's not where we want to be.
Makes sense.
So let me ask you this. This will be the last segment. I shared the video or the screenshot of the HIMSS ad where it was pay for 6 months up front. Again, I think it was the GLP-1. I'll see if I can pull it up. I've got thoughts about why that's an effective strategy. What are you thinking if you thought about that at all?
Yeah, so awesome share. Thank you for sharing that. And so for someone that's looking to do, again, one of these weight loss shots or drugs or whatever, paying for 6 months up front, maybe some people look at it as like, oh, so like maybe there's like a volume-based discount, right? But really, I think deep down, or the bigger percentage of it is like, that's filtering in people who are going to be serious, that are actually going to do it for a longer period of time. And in 6 months, like whatever the research is on it, like in 3 to 4 to 6 months or whatever is when you'll see a lot more of the weight loss. And I think a lot of people that are on the shot are probably historically or even currently not sold or not happy with the first like 30 or 60 days or 90 days of being on this shot, right? So it's kind of like it probably builds in the timeline of when you're going to see results. And also, if someone pays for 6 months up front, they're going to be, believe it or not, Tony, they're going to be even more considerate about other things. Maybe they're going to weigh themselves more often. Maybe they're going to watch what they eat a little bit more. Maybe they're going to walk a little bit more because they're like, oh, I'm already committed for this 6 month thing. So I might as well be a little bit better with all my other decisions and behaviors and all that. So, but paying for 6 months up front makes a ton of sense. I think the root part of this is that there's not a big difference in weight loss between the first maybe 30, 60, 90, whatever days in. But by 6 months, I think on average, whatever, I'm sure there's stats for it, but there's going to be a big bulk of people that will see some meaningful results, whether clinically statistic or clinically relevant results or just meaningful results to them, however they define that.
Yeah, I've always said this. It's like whatever your pricing model, you price to incentivize the action you need from the client. I don't like selling individual sessions because, I'm not going to do anything in a single session that's going to be measurable or beneficial unless it's a one-time plan of care. Now, I'll get people that come to me, they need one evaluation to justify the next step in their journey. That's fine. But here's on the screen, it says 1 upfront payment, 6 months of weight loss, lock in 6 months of treatment, no hidden fees, weight loss by HIMSS. You got the guy, he's lifting up his shirt, showing his belly. I tried to run an ad like this not too long ago. Didn't really do much for me, for my business. Then you got a little bit of narrative. I'm not going to read it, but basically, personalized plan, personalized results, weight loss plan built around your health, lifestyle goals. You could do a better job using ChatGPT to create better narrative than this. Dave is a huge fan of copywriting and direct response, as am I. I would cue ChatGPT to turn this into something better that speaks to a specific person.
Let's go parting shots really quick. Again, we've talked about it a million times. You guys are watching or listening, but watching this live or on the replay with video. I want to continue to focus on with my practice. It will get us or help us achieve more of our goals, more of our impact, more of our financial goals, hire more therapists, get more patients, get more referral sources. That's my parting shot. All right, guys, that's it for today's show. We'll see you next time.
Hey, it's Dave Kittle. Are you a healthcare business owner or physical therapy practice owner who is looking to figure out your succession plan or exit strategy? We might be able to help. And in fact, we may be interested in acquiring your practice. If you're interested, you can reach out to me. Shoot me an email at dave@conciergepainrelief.com. That's DAVE at CONCIERGE, painrelief.com. Or you can call me at any time, 646-781-8884.